Corsi here. In this question we're asked to calculate the median and then to find the semi-interquartile range for this set of data. So let's remind ourselves what we mean by the median. So we have a set of numbers, a set of data. We put them in increasing order, least up to the greatest, and suppose we've got an even number. Let's say there's 6 numbers. And also we'll look at the case where there's an odd number, so there's 7, say. So the median, we would divide them up into 2 equal groups. If there so happens to be a number where we divide it, then that's the median. If there isn't a number, then we take the 2 middle numbers, add them up and divide by 2. We find the mean of these numbers. So that's what we mean by the median. So in this case, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. Let's put them in order. So there's a couple of 3s, a couple of 4s, there's a 5, there's a 6, there's a 7, there's a 9, and there's a 10. And that's 9 numbers. Just double check the totals there. So that's them placed in increasing order. And because there's 9 of them, dividing them up into 2 equal groups, we go through the number 5 to do that division. So that would be the median, the middle value. So for part A, we've got the median being 5. Now the semi-interquartile range, this involves taking the left-hand group, it's the lower group, and the right-hand group, and finding the median of each of these groups of numbers. So we take the lower 4 data points and divide them equally. And where that division goes, we're finding what's called the lower quartile, or Q1. The median's actually Q2. And then we look for the middle of the upper 4. That would be Q3, or the upper quartile. So this is the lower quartile, and this is the upper quartile. But there is no number there, so what we have to do is take the mean of 3 and 4, add them up, divide by 2. That'll give us 3.5. And then the mean of 7 and 9, add them up, divide by 2, and that gives us 8. So the lower quartile here is 3.5. We know the median is 5. The upper quartile is 8. So the semi-interquartile range the range between the lower and the upper quartiles, that's the difference between 8 and 3.5. Semi would imply that we're to half that. So we divide the result of that by 2. So if we take 3.5 from 8, we get 4.5. And if we divide 4.5 by 2, we get 2.25. So the semi-interquartile range is 2.25. The median is 5. So let's just put that over here. Median is 5, and the semi-interquartile range is equal to 2.25. So that's part A of this question. So let's now have a look at part B. See, this first one was to do with the midday temperatures in Grantford, recorded over 9 days. So there were the temperatures over a 9-day period. And then the same 9-day period in a different place, Endach, were also recorded. And in this case, we got 8 for the median, and the semi-interquartile range is 1.5. So let's have a look at the two and compare them, which is what we're after. Grantford compared to Endoch, and we're looking first of all at the median. So the median in Grantford, which is what we've just calculated, was 5, whereas the median in Endoch was 8. So this is a measure of the average temperature. So what could we say about the average temperatures, the median temperatures? We could certainly say that Endoch, the median, the average temper was greater. So average temperature as measured by the median in Endoch, let's be a bit more precise about this, is 3 degrees. It's 3 degrees centigrade greater than in Grantford. So it's a greater average temperature. So that's the first thing. So now let's have a look at the semi-interquartile range, and the one we've calculated for Grantford. This is the semi-interquartile range. For Grantford we have 2.25, and for Endoch we're told it was 1.5. So we can see that the Endoch semi-interquartile range is less than the semi-interquartile range for Grantford. Now, this means that spreading out, if we look at the spread of the temperatures, it would mean that Endoch's temperatures were more consistent, they were bunched around the mean of 8 degrees, whereas in Grantford there was much more spread out, more range, if you like, the semi-interquartile range. The measurements of temperatures were greater between the least and the greatest. So there's more spread out temperatures in Grantford as compared to Endoch. So we would say that temperatures in Endoch were more consistent less spread out, and that's around the median, than in Grantford. More variation in the temperatures of Grantford, since the semi-interquartile range 2.25 for Grantford was greater than semi-interquartile range, which is 1.5 for Endoch. So I think, having said all that, showing that you're comparing one with the other, one is greater than the other, showing that you know what they mean, less spread out if the semi-interquartile range is smaller, more spread out if the semi-interquartile range is larger. So I think that would cover us and allow you to gain that mark. That's Mr. Corsi signing out. Hope you enjoyed the video.